What the fuck is up, gamers? It's your boy The Goods, and happy birthday to me, motherfuckers! That's right. It's my birthday, and I'm gonna go ahead and bust out episode number 7 of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, because what better way to start my birthday at almost 11 in the morning than to do a little bit of Ace Attorney. So, without further ado, let's get the fuck into it. I need to move the walkthrough to this screen over here real quick. Move my fucking 2-liter of Coke Zero. And open that up. Perfect. Let's continue. In the last episode we played game, and in this episode we're going to continue to play game. So, if I recall correctly, we need to examine everything.
Oi! What's your hands off? You're gonna mess up my crime scene!
Oh, no, I just wanted to look, that's all.
No chance! I know you're kind! You'll mess it up just by looking at it!
Ugh, someone's in a bad mood.
There's certainly some bad air in here, isn't there?
Alright, it sounds like I better talk to the inspector first and try to curry some favor. So, Inspector, what was the victim's name? Who was he?
Mr. William Shakespeare. He was a lodger here. As you can probably tell, he was an actor. Bit of a dead loss as it happens. Or just dead.
Mr. Shakespeare.
It was a landlord, Mr. Garrideb, and the other lodger, Mr. Natsimo, who found him. The fella didn't rise at his usual hour, so Garrideb got worried and kicked the door down.
But doesn't Mr. Garrideb have a bad leg?
Oh yeah, you're right there. It was that jittery Japanese hunchback over there who actually did the kicking.
Really? Soseki-san?
The victim was pretty hard up, it seems. Even done some time inside for petty crimes. He had no money, no place to go, and no friends. His only acquaintances were the people in his house. Miserable life and a miserable end to it.
So, what exactly is Mr. Natsume still doing here? He's not involved in the investigation, so shouldn't you have sent him away from the crime scene?
Well, I'm not saying it's because the fella looks old or anything, or that he acts suspicious, but I thought it'd be prudent to take a statement from the culprit, cohabiter.
You nearly said culprit there, didn't you?
Oh dear, Mr. Natsume appears to be under suspicion again.
Certainly seems that way. He does just come across as such an odd fellow, doesn't he?
Poor man, how unfortunate.
Anyway, I can't say much till the coroner gets here. But I don't think the fella's been a goner that long. The body's still warm.
Even if the inspector would allow it, I don't think I could bring myself to touch a dead body. Okay, how about you, Soseki-san? What does the walkthrough say to do? Talk to Soseki-san. Okay. When Sholmes appears, you can do that. What a terrible thing to have happened. It's only been 3
days since I was arrested for the incident on the pavement outside. And then, having finally regained my freedom, it starts happening all over again. Endless existence of exploitating experiences!
So, the victim lived here on the ground floor, and your room is just 1 story up, isn't it?
Yes, that's right. In a way, we were neighbors, I suppose.
So did you know the victim? Were you friends? Yeah? Big dog, you good? What's the matter with Soseki-san now? It was an innocent enough question, wasn't it? Why does he seem so shaken by it?
Well, I suppose he wasn't a complete stranger. But did he ever invite me to his room? Never! On my honor, I swear it!
What an extreme reaction. You're probably wishing you'd never asked now, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
When we found him here, I felt wretched, which is why I sent word asking you to come. Through that inspector over there!
What you doing over here, buddy? Fuck are you doing? Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing?
Ha! You need only observe to know it, my dear fellow. Investigating naturally.
There's nothing natural about that pose. You look like a swastika, big dog. What the fuck is that?
Mr. Sholmes, have you made some miraculous discovery?
Patience, my dear madam, patience. We've not been here in this room 5 minutes. So far, all I've managed to deduce is what actually happened.
My goodness! But isn't that everything we need to know, Mr. Sholmes?
Now that you propose the idea, I believe one could indeed see it that way. At the present time, I have managed to draw 2 incontrovertible conclusions. The first, that there was a physical struggle here last night in which the victim fought for his life.
Mr. Natsume, what's wrong? Is something that Mr. Sholmes said significant somehow?
No! Don't mind me! Forget I was here!
And my second conclusion is that there was a poison lingering in the air here last night that passed the victim's lips.
Nonsense!
Alright, Mr. Natsume, why are you reacting so extremely to Mr. Sholmes' deductions?
No! Please! Pretend I'm not here! Invisible! Ineffable! Inscrutable! Insignificant!
Impossible to ignore.
You must tell us everything, Mr. Sholmes. Spare no detail.
But of course, let the theatrical tragedy before us be unraveled by my great deductions, presented for your pleasure in 2 acts.
We had some truly astounding great deductions from Mr. Sholmes in the past. No doubt this will be no exception. What miracles will unfold before our eyes this time?
So, my dear fellows, for your delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Act 1.
Alright, bro. Alright, bro. Cause of death. Let me, keep all this open. Because the way they do the walkthrough is insane. Like, it lists fucking everything. For no reason.
Careful observation of the victim reveals to us the events that transpired from this disconsolate room last night. Foam at the mouth of the deceased clearly indicates the use of poison. Ugh! Next to the victim, we notice a large dining plate, which contains, you will observe, 1/2 of a sizable bar of soap. Meaningful? Indubitably! Why is this soap set so purposefully upon the dish? Like the victim's last supper, in fact. Yeah, wait, so he has foam on his mouth and soap on his plate? He's a fucking weirdo. That has given us nothing, actually. You just... Okay. Could it be that the man was about to eat it? Of course, the fork reveals the answer! It appears that the young man's appetite was his undoing. He was so hungry he was eating soap and got sick from the soap and died.
Or choked on it.
Taking up arms in the form of his cutlery, the victim engaged in a deadly battle for his life. What the fuck are you talking about? Yet the struggle against his hunger was in vain, for in the end he couldn't resist devouring the slippery feast.
Okay, so we have the same conclusion. He's eating it.
But London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison. What? Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the contents of the plate. The soap and the lather about the young man's mouth are 2 perfectly matched to ignore.
I think he's just a weirdo.
The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to excessive ingestion of foul soap. Though personally, I have a greater interest in the taste of foul candle wax, of course.
Freak. Oh my god, we're just moving on to the second one. Suicide or murder?
The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2, where we ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer. To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. A careful criminal could have absconded with his own cup to cover the tracks. Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow.
Soseki is losing his fucking mind.
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock.
mean the one that they broke to get in there? Though forced open now, at the time of the incident, this door was locked. And the sole key was in the victim's pocket. Yeah, so it was a suicide. In other words, when the victim consumed the poison, he must have been alone. Alone with his inferior soap from whence wafted an inferior scent. And with that acrid aroma lingering in the air, the victim met his end in tragic solitude. We can take comfort only in the fact that his soul was well cleansed on its way to the hereafter. The way they do this walkthrough is so annoying, because they list, like, it covers the entire page. Thus concludes the final act of Sherlock Holmes' great deduction. It covers the entire page. Like, I wish I could, hold on, I could actually show you, hold on, I'm gonna, like, show what the fuck I'm talking about, because this makes way more sense if I just show you. Oh. I see what's happening. That one? Yeah, okay. So, like, let me show you. So, like, the page, right? Like, you can see my cursor, yeah. So, like, this is, like, what happens. So, he shows up, you do the instant deduction. It shows, like, everything he fucking says. And then they have this part where you're supposed to tell you what to do. And then everything he fucking says, and, like, it's this part. And it's like, why would you not just, like, put the parts that I need to worry about? That's so obnoxious, but, like, what the fuck ever. Whatever, it doesn't matter. There's just one thing, Mr. Sholmes. You are disposed to identifying just one thing, aren't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Pray, what concerns you? Well, no matter how hungry he was, do you really think the man would have eaten soap? It is quite apparent that this man had barely a penny to his name. It is a curious thing, but to one so destitute, soap can suddenly appear quite irresistibly appetizing.
How extraordinary!
In truth, I have tried a little soap myself in the past. You've eaten it, you mean? My dear fellow, it was some time ago now. My postulation was that it would cleanse my gut.
And did it?
As I writhed in agony on the floor and spilt the contents of my stomach, yes, I believe it did. The experience taught me a valuable lesson. Soap is quite poisonous. It has an unpleasant taste and leads to great discomfort. In summary, I cannot recommend it. Believe me, I wouldn't eat it even if you did.
There's something that troubles me as well, actually.
Oh, what's that?
It's Mr. Natsumi. I couldn't help but noticing him shuddering and quivering out of the corner of my eye. Almost as if Mr. Sholmes' deductions touched a nerve somehow.
Nonsense!
Well, that clenched teeth episode didn't last.
I think, judging by Mr. Natsumi's reaction, the great detective's deductions may need some gentle corrections in order to reach the actual truth.
Yeah, Mr. Sholmes' observations and deductions are sometimes a little too sharp. He has a tendency to hit the nail on the side of the head and drive it in at an obtuse angle. When he does that, it falls to us to straighten things out. Alright then, let's see what we can do.
Yes, we must pick out the key words in Mr. Sholmes' quite brilliant deductions, and discreetly exchange them for something that makes a little more sense. If we can do that, I'm sure we'll arrive at what Mr. Sholmes meant to say in the first place.
In that case, are you ready for the second performance of the day? Once again, my dear fellows, for your continued delight and wonder, let the curtain rise. For Sherlock Holmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular, Act 1. Jesus Christ, okay. So, hold it, Mr. Sholmes. You're a fucking idiot. So in statement 6... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold on. This is it. There we go.
Well, you can't deny that a fork implies a man was eating something, or about to eat something.
Yes, that's true. If I were to decide to eat some soap, I should prefer to use a fork than attempt it with chopsticks.
And of course, only half of the bar of soap is left on the plate.
But might there not be some other explanation? Something material that proves whether or not the man really ate some soap?
So now, we're gonna find that piece. If I could, Jesus Christ! There. God fucking damn. Look, there's more soap on the floor here. Mr. Shamspeare really must have loved the stuff.
Let's not jump to conclusions, Mr. Naruhodo. Look closely at this soap. Do you see that it would fit together perfectly with the half bar on the table?
What the? How can that be?
I think that there are two halves of the same bar that broke apart.
So now, back. Motherfucker. Oh my god! Can I, like, arrow keys? I can't arrow keys this shit. Can I present that? Take that! God damn. Take that! Could it be the man was about to eat it? Of course. The other piece of soap reveals the answer. It being the other half of the soap on the table. In short, the victim was not eating soap at all. Oh, that's Sholmes.
But it's obvious, really, for no depth of hunger could drive any man to attempt to eat soap. Even I, with my unquenchable thirst for practical knowledge, took only a single bite.
But that begs the question of how the man was poisoned, because there's no sign of any food on the table.
An excellent observation, Mr. Naruhodo, and one that furnishes us with the answer we seek. For London's foul soap is besmirched by foul poison.
Okay, this was... So on statement 11, which is this, Mr. Sholmes is still pushing the soap argument then, because he didn't change any, whatever. Perhaps he's
suggesting the man lick the soap rather than eat it.
If soap in London is that poisonous, I don't think I want to be washing my hands with it. But there are no signs of any food in this room at all.
Of course, food isn't the only thing that passes people's lips, is it?
Yeah. Fucking teacup. Present! Take that! Yes, the victim's life was claimed by poison that tainted the teacup.
Indeed, cups have been the vessel of choice for practicing poisoners for over centuries. And it would appear the victim drank every last drop except for the drops on the table.
There's no sign of food anywhere in the room.
Which leads us to the immutable conclusion. The cause of death was clearly intoxication due to the ingestion of poison contained in this teacup.
Alright! It's one down, baby.
The cause of death identified, we proceed to Act 2. We ponder the next question. Was this suicide or murder? The audience will recall that the death occurred during the victim's last supper. Did the man dine and die alone? The single teacup suggests the answer.
Ah, the Western vessel for infused hot drinks again. It's already featured heavily in our deductions so far.
Yes, we can imagine that shortly before his death, Mr. Shamspeare was having a drink of tea. There would be nothing remarkable about that, but what troubles me
is Mr. Natsume's reaction when he heard Mr. Sholmes suggest it. There's more to this deduction than it seems.
We must closely examine the scene of the crime again for more clues.
Right. Which...
Take that!
Take that! Why is he German? I just, like, put that together. Like, I've made jokes of it, but, like... What the fuck is the deal there? Did the man die alone? This other teacup suggests the answer, Hellas. Like, I'm not doing that. Yes, there were 2 teacups in this room all along. Ah! In other words, this is a strong indication that at the victim's last supper, there was a guest present.
At the very least, we can say now with certainty
that somebody else was here in this room last night talking tea with the victim. Or he's a weirdo and he was drinking 2 cups of tea, playing tea cup roulette.
What are you talking about? Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable!
To draw a conclusion on such meager evidence would be foolish, however, certainly. In which case, what more can we deduce about this possible guest at the table? Well, allow me to lift the veil of doubt, my dear fellow. Do you mean to say you know exactly who was in the room at the time of the victim's death? Indeed! What reveals the answer, of course, is the broken lock! I'm not sure I like where this deduction is going now.
I'm afraid it's too late to go back to the halcyon days of eating too much soap.
But the identity of the guest who was in here last night when the victim passed away is something I have a very bad feeling about.
Well, you can try to ignore your feelings, but we cannot ignore the truth, Mr. Naruhodo!
No, I suppose not. Time to look around again. So, I want to see if I can figure out what the fuck I'm looking for. Examine the pile of books? At first glance, it seems that the only things in this room are the makeshift stage and the costumes. I didn't know what to do. I overlooked these 3 books initially.
I wonder what they are. Let's see, the titles read The Picture of Monsieur Lecoq, Canterbury Yearnings, and A Meal for Gaborio.
Gaborio. Wait, I'm sure I've heard those titles before. In the last game I played 2 years ago. I recognize them.
It could just be an incredible coincidence, but they're the exact same 3 books that Mr. Natsume purchased the other day.
What? Yes, on the day of the unfortunate incident when Miss Green was stabbed. Sosuke-san had just been to a bookshop and bought them, that's right.
And now those 3 titles are here in the room of the victim.
Yet Mr. Natsume claims to have never been here before. He robbed him and he killed him. Wait, what does this mean, do you think?
I really don't know what to make of it.
Pile of familiar books.
Take that! Take that!
Indeed, what reveals the answer, of course, is the pile of familiar books. Quite so. It's no mere coincidence that these 3 titles are here in the room. It's the link to the truth. This fucking makes noises and shit. Mr. Natsume, you purchased these books 4 days ago at a secondhand bookshop.
That's just a coincidence!
In that case, you will be able to bring the same 3 titles from your own room, will you not? This very moment!
No, never, non-negotiable!
If you can't bring your own copies here, it proves that these 3 books are in fact yours. Fucking guy. The fuck is he doing? Having purchased the books 4 days ago and returned to your lodgings, you were arrested the very next day. So you could conceivably have brought these books here on that evening, but you never mentioned that. In other words, you could only have brought these 3 books here to your victim's room. Last night, having returned to your lodging after the trial concluded at the Old Bailey. In short, there's only one possible conclusion. The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning. Also, it says warning, like cross-examinations and summon examinations, if you make up to 5 mistakes, you have to start the course correction all over again. Who the fuck is making mistakes with the walkthrough open? The victim died here in his room last night as a result of poisoning. And that same night, the victim had a visitor. And that visitor... Fucking guy. Was you, Sosuke Natsume! The thus concludes the final act of Herlock Sholmes' Great Deduction. Soseki Natsume at the scene. Solved. Elementary! Fucking hell.
Not again! Not again! Not again! Not again! Well then, Mr. Natsume, it would appear you're gonna have to accompany me down to the yard. Again. But wait! Oh no, horses! Yes? No! Key! Locked! Entry! Exit! Entirely impossible!
He's so flustered he's being even stranger than normal.
What? You think that's an alibi? Could have just made a copy. What? You live in the same building after all. Could have had plenty of opportunity, I'm sure. But! Misery me! Sorry, sir. You get your chance to give your side of the story later.
The facts speak for themselves, Mr. Mustache.
Ah! You horrible Herlock Sholmes!
He really has found himself an arch rival now, hasn't he?
Come on now, no dilly-dallying. Outside, as the carriage waiting. Let him shoot it, Mr. Norhead, Esquire! I never imagined I'd be in this position again, but you have to help me! Please, I'm innocent!
Alright, I understand. We'll come to your cell later and talk about it.
And one more thing!
Oh, yes?
My poor little kitty cat. Please give him his breakfast for me!
That's so sad.
And so, his evil curse still apparently unbroken.
Soseki-san found himself once more again the prime suspect in a case of murder. Fucking hell. Thanks to the incriminating deduction of the great detective. And you! My dear fellow, that honor belongs to you! You are the one who did it, yeah, fucker. That was all you, man. Well, at least that means Inspector Gregson's no longer here. We can examine the crime scene in more detail now.
Yes, that's right. And of course.
What?
Have you forgotten what the inspector mentioned before? It was the landlord, Mr. Garadeb, who discovered Mr. Shamspeare.
Ah, Mr. John Garadeb. Yeah, oh, this fucking guy.
I expect we could find him in his sitting room on the top floor as usual.
Right, we must remember to go and talk to him later then. Didn't he get arrested for murder? Oh, that was the wife. The wife got arrested for murder. Okay. Let me save the game. Let me save the game here. I think I'm going to end the episode for now, and then we'll investigate in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.